It's time for another movie review. This time I'm doing See You Yesterday, which is a Netflix original film. I noticed that it had recently been put on, and I decided to give it a shot just because it looked really good in the trailer. I also noticed that it was directed by Spike Lee, and I know he's a really big name, so I decided to go ahead and give it a shot. The movie is basically about a young girl and young boy, Claudette and Sebastian, who are super geniuses and have a pretty bright future. They're really into science, and time travel seems to be their biggest venture, and things are going pretty well for them. The film takes a pretty sad turn where Claudette's brother Calvin is a victim of police brutality and ends up ultimately being killed. So Claudette decides that she's gonna go back in the future. She's gonna go back in the past and change this horrible fate. She enlists the help of course, her best friend Sebastian, but they also bring in his best friend, which I'm sorry, can't remember his name, because he's like one of those minor characters that were kind of important but not really. And he was also creepy into Claudette, and I thought it was like one of those like sweet things, but also super creepy. Anywho's, moving on. The film was very well done. I was really surprised just how well this film was going to be done. The acting's really great. The scenes that are done are done very well. The realism of the film, the dialogue, how these characters are interacting with each other, I thought was very realistic, and it gave a very raw, real emotion to the film, which I thought was very important, especially in films like this where you really need to see how these characters connect and kind of how they bring this side of their world to life. The main character, Claudette, I liked her. There wasn't a lot of time to kind of show a lot of her personality, but I felt like they did a good job of just kind of giving you the basis of who she is and what kind of person she is. Would I have liked a little more, to be a little invested in her? Yes, but there just wasn't I don't want to say there wasn't time. There's always time to build a character, but kind of the way the film takes it is kind of just like, here they are really, really quick before tragedy ensues. And it kind of doesn't give you too much time to kind of recognize who these characters really are, but with that being said, they do a very good job of kind of making you see the connection between these characters, if that makes sense. Like, you can tell that these characters really care about each other. But I had a major flaw with the way that Calvin and Claudette's relationship is. The whole brother-sister relationship, I thought, was going really well. There has a lot of scenes, right before his death where, you see it. You see the relationship. You see the aw factor. Then all of a sudden, towards the kind of middle of the film, when she's on her journeys to save him, something happens in the film where all of a sudden it seems like their relationship is like not on that level. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make any excuse, but I think it's a little ridiculous that, your sibling is warning you, giving you these things, these symbols, and you're just completely incapable of trusting them. And he goes so far as to make it think that is to act like she's making a joke, and it's like, dude, really? Like, why would she? Is she that kind of sister? If they had done something previously before this happened to kind of show me that they had this jokey relationship, then I would have thought for sure it would make sense for him to be as skeptical and as stubborn and resistant as he was. But your sister's a genius. She dabbles in science. She does weird, things. And you kind of see her in a getup. You see her frantic. She's frazzled. She's scared. She's handing you things. She's trying to warn you. She's trying to tug you and pull you. And the most you can come up with is, where's the cameras? Am I being punked? Come on. Like, dude. Like, this film had me so triggered because I just couldn't believe it. It was like, okay, I get it. Like, it sounds a little far-fetched. It's a little hard to believe, but oh my God, if someone's coming up to you and telling you, your sibling no less, like, I'm not talking about a crazy person on the street, the ones that are like, Jesus is among us. No, this is your sibling coming up to you, scared, frantic, showing you items that they, you know, how could they have possibly gotten unless something obviously happened. And for you to just blatantly give them such a hard time and just be like, no, whatever, I'm like, part of you is just like, all right, fuck it, let it happen, let it be. You know, like, the stubbornness of it all just made me say, fuck it, just let him die, I guess, because obviously he's just not, you know, like, what is there to do at that point? If you know your brother is going to give you that much of a hard time, there's nothing you can do. But she doesn't get it. Claudette just keeps doing it. She keeps trying to. And then there's a moment in the scene where she starts to see repercussions. She starts to see the consequences of messing with time. Specifically when Sebastian ends up being the one that's killed instead of her brother. She starts seeing that, you know, there are consequences. However, she won't give up. She still goes back in time to save somebody who she's trying to save. But he don't believe her. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, you can only save somebody who wants to save themselves, or at least somebody who's going to believe you. And it's like, at that point, the film takes a turn where you're just like, honestly, you become less invested. Like, there's so many different ways that this film could have gone where I wanted to see kind of like a struggle, you know, of fate catching up with her, you know, or her learning her lesson and knowing that you can't escape fate. Whatever is meant to happen happens. I thought that this movie was gonna have one of those endings, but it doesn't. This film has one of the most worst endings I think I've ever seen in a film, where literally at a climax, it's almost like it ended at the climax of this film, and you're waiting. You're like, oh my God, this is it. This is the moment. And then credits, and you're like, I literally spent 5 minutes just going, what the fuck? What the fuck? Literally, I could not get over how they ended this film. Like, what the fuck? Because there's just no other words to describe the ending of this film. This film did not end. It was cut at a very crucial moment. There's just no way. A lot of people will probably be like, well, I mean, you know, you can kind of make up. No, you can't. This film ends on a note where you literally don't know what happens. You're left to just wonder. And I don't like that. I don't like it. I feel like it's very lazy writing. I don't know what the point of it was. And, if, you know, like, you gotta start. You gotta start, you gotta middle, you gotta end. We missed the end. There's no end. There's a drag-on sentence. There was no period. They forgot to put the period in this film. And it took away from everything the film was. It was so sad. Like, the film was so good. It was good. We had the culture. We had the attitudes. We had everything. It had such potential to be a great film. And then the ending was just like, I'm so mad about it. Like, I do recommend seeing this film. Go see it, because it's a really good film. It does give you in the feels. There's a lot of emotion to it. There's a lot of build up, you know. I feel like you kind of will learn something, even though she doesn't seem to. You know, there's a moral, you know, and there's a reason in the story. And I feel like it's worth seeing. You know, everybody's opinion is different. Some people might like the way it ends. I personally didn't. I like full stories, and I feel like this wasn't a full story. I feel like we were robbed of the end, and it's gonna bother me because I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. So yeah, that's pretty much my view on this movie. What the fuck? Just so you guys know, for every review that I will be doing on movies, I will be adding spoilers to my movies. I do not feel that I can give a really, really good, like, hard, constructive breakdown unless I spoil the film. So I highly encourage that before you see any of my reviews, check out the movie first, you know, and then, you know, watch the video and then have a discussion. I feel like reviews are more like for discussions to kind of open up how we feel about the movie. I don't want anyone to base their whether or not they're going to see a movie based on my opinion solely. I really want to just be able to have a chat, you know, and a conversation and just talk about movies because I love movies. So I just want everyone to know that my videos, all my movies, they will all have spoilers in them. So if you haven't seen the movie and you do see that I do a video for a particular movie that you did want to see, go see it first and then come back and then we'll talk. That about wraps it up for this review. If you guys saw See You Yesterday, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my videos, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.